Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jazz, and today we're going to be doing the all signs video for the North Node in Pisces and South Node in Virgo transit that's starting on January 11th, 2025. I already did a overview video for this transit, so make sure you check that out. I'll have that linked up here and also down in the description box below. It'll give you a better understanding of what this North Node, South Node transit is doing for us as a collective and personally. In this video, you're going to be able to see how it's going to be affecting your chart. I recommend you listen to your sun, moon, and rising to get the most comprehensive outlook. So without further ado, let's get started with the all signs. For my Aries, sun, moon, and rising, you're going to have the North Node in the 12th house and the South Node in the 6th house. So with the North Node in the 12th house, it's wanting you to embrace the unknown, move toward healing and growing through spirituality, contemplation, and solitude. And with the South Node in Virgo in the 6th, this is going to be having you let go of routines and jobs that no longer serve you. With the North Node in the 12th house too, this could have you desiring to visit faraway places or go into retreat and take time away from your daily grind. You guys just got done having the North Node in your first, where there was a lot of emphasis on who you are becoming or who you are wanting to become, what kind of identity you want to have out in the world, what kind of attitude you want to have in the world. Now you're moving into a place of solitude and retreat from that. It's really interesting that the nodes move counterclockwise, right? They're always retrograde. So usually we have this building up where, okay, you have this new identity and then something goes into your second house and then you're building the values that go with that new identity. But here, it's almost like you built this identity and there's so much emphasis and energy going towards you and your life that now it's time of retreat. It's time of letting go of conflict as well, because the 6th house is very much conflict. With the South Node in your 7th, there may have been some conflict with other people that resulted because of your desire to act out on your own, because the North Node was in your sign. And so sometimes relationships in some way suffer from that. And now with the South Node in the 6th, you're kind of retiring those things. You're learning that you have to kind of let go of those things so you can focus more on your internal world. You might find that there are some routines or jobs that make you feel small. Maybe the work environment that you have right now is critical or judgmental, and you're recognizing throughout this 18-month process that you deserve better and you want peace. The 12th house is so much about finding peace and healing. And so you're going to be, now that I'm thinking about it, it's going to be very amazing for Aries. I feel that there is a sense of calm coming over you guys more. You guys are very pioneering, of course, and we love that about you, and that's never going to change, right? You're always going to be that Aries person. But during this time, I feel like there is a desire to chill, to bring the energy down a little bit. And sometimes when we have the South Node transiting a certain part of our house, things naturally improve when we start working on the 12th house things. So like I said, like meditation, retreat, solitude, spirituality, healing, working on subconscious beliefs. This is a huge area of working on our own self-undoing. We want to be careful with the North Node here that we're not getting too obsessed with these things as well, because spirituality can also, just like anything else, be used incorrectly. All right, Aries, let me know how this resonates for you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys next time. For my Taurus, sun, moon, and rising, the North Node in Pisces is going to be in your 11th house, and the South Node is going to be in your 5th house of Virgo. So for you guys, you're going to be embracing communities and groups, maybe some spiritually minded ones, since this is North Node in Pisces. And you're going to be growing through these groups as well. These groups are going to be pushing you out of your comfort zone. Or maybe there are new wishes, hopes, and dreams for the future, new visions that you have that maybe are much more expansive than what you previously allowed yourself to believe. And during the 18 months of this transit, you're going to be pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone and really trying to make something of who's around you. What organizations do you belong to? What online communities and groups are you a part of? This is also, the 11th house can be about online presence as well. So maybe for some of you guys, that's something that you're desiring during this time. With the South Node in the 5th, you're letting go of ways of self-expression and creative ventures that no longer serve you or keep you small. You're also letting go of romances or ways that you received pleasure that are no longer serving who you are now. A lot of these things, these romances, pleasures, creative ventures, maybe they had you feeling self-critical, or maybe your romantic partner or the way that you are in love was self-critical. And now you're recognizing that if you want to keep growing in the way that you are towards these new visions and dreams, that you can no longer be this way toward yourself and towards the people who you love. Some of the ways of self-expression, maybe in the past you've been more critical or judgmental, and a lot of times we are that way because it's a way of keeping us safe, because we don't have to be vulnerable and open and trusting when we are critical and judgmental of ourselves and others. And you guys naturally have Virgo in the 5th house, so your self-expression tends to be muted and service oriented, and that's never going to change. You have Virgo on that cusp of your chart. But during this time, if there are any ways in which that is becoming very burdensome for you, there are more constructive ways of doing that than maybe you are now. And so you're letting go of the ways that are holding you down, that are keeping you small. And you are keeping the ways of self-expression and the creative ventures and the romances and the pleasures that are going to really show who you are now, because you've changed. All right, my Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising, let me know how that resonates for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. For my Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, you're going to have North Node in Pisces in the 10th house and South Node in Virgo in the 4th house. So this is a big one for you guys. You're embracing big opportunities in career and in your public life with that North Node in the 10th house, and Saturn's already been there as well. You're letting go of emotional patterns with a South Node in the 4th that may have kept you small. This revolves around trusting ourselves to be seen out in the world. And for a lot of you guys, this may be some sort of spiritual or very service-oriented career field that you're going into because of the North Node being in Pisces. In order for you to feel seen out in the public world, this may require letting go of some family and home dynamics that are no longer working for you anymore. If there's anyone in your home life, whether that's somebody physically in your home or in your family or internally within your own emotional world that is very critical and judgmental, you're not going to want this anymore. It's not going to work for you anymore. And during this time, changes in the home are common, whether that's moving or someone moving in or moving out or something happening in the private life that can be difficult and emotionally upsetting. Yet it is completely necessary for you to let go of whatever is occurring in the 4th, because right now your evolutionary purpose, your growth, and where you are being pushed to move outside of your comfort zone is really in the 10th house. And so of course we want to be able to balance this with the 4th house, because anywhere we are out of balance, if we are moving too much towards the 10th, then we are going to have a lot more issues in the 4th. So it's more about, how do I move toward my 10th house things, that career, public life, my legacy, while also having a really loose grip on what's happening in my home life, knowing that this is a time of shedding there, letting go of things that are no longer serving me, things that are keeping me small. When we have the nodes in the 10th and 4th house, a lot of times there is healing and forgiveness, especially when it's in Pisces and Virgo. There is healing or forgiveness of a parent. And for you guys, it's most likely the father figure. And just letting you know, forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. Forgiveness is an inside job. It doesn't have to involve any other person. So keep that in mind for you guys. And let me know how this resonates. I will see you guys next time. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video. All right, so for my Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising, you guys have the North Node going into the 9th house, South Node in the 3rd house. So you guys are embracing the possibilities of a really big vision, asking deep questions, embracing the idea of exploring the world more, whether that's externally or your own internal world. And you're letting go of trying to understand everything mentally. And you're letting go of any sort of critical mindsets that you've had throughout your life that have kept you small, especially over the last 18 years, that have kept you small, that have made you feel like you can't have those big dreams. You can't explore the world in that big way. This is more about having faith and growing through your belief systems. So a lot of times this requires letting go of how your immediate environment has been. And the South Node in the third house, I just recently experienced this, so I have a little bit of foresight, is very all-encompassing, because when you think about your third house is your immediate environment. It's the bubble that you live in. When that goes through a process of change through loss or through letting go or refining, that can mean a lot of things, right? And so be open to how your life can change, and know that if your immediate surrounding is changing, it's because there is some sort of evolutionary process that's waiting for you beyond, out there. It's letting go of your immediate environments. Maybe you're going to have to let go of some skills that you've built that are no longer serving you. And any sort of communication, whether that's internally with your thoughts or externally in communicating to somebody, any sort of critical or judgmental communication styles that are holding you back, and you're releasing your attachments to these things, because you're realizing that if you want to grow and expand, your belief systems have to change. And that means letting go of this self-judgment or this criticism, or anyone in your immediate environment who is condoning this sort of criticism and judgment, whether of you or others. It's about having this bigger vision and embracing these big questions and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to see bigger, to believe in something bigger than you have previously believed in. So Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, let me know how this resonates for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like my content. I'll see you guys next time. All right, for my Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, you guys have North Node in the 8th house, South Node in the 2nd house of Virgo. So for you guys, this 18-month transit is going to be about embracing shared resources and building deep bonds with others. Finding people that you bond with spiritually, and they're going to be supporting you immensely, whether that's emotionally, financially, or both, and being open to that. And so in a lot of ways, this requires letting go of desiring to control your own finances and finding value as a singular person. Now, of course, you have value as a singular person, but you're going to recognize what beautiful and prosperous things can come about when you join forces with another person. Whether that's an intimate partner, or whether that's clients, or whether that's a investor, or whether that's somebody who's willing to emotionally support you. And you can see that you can get a lot further during this time. It's about opening. It's not about absolute truths. It's just that during this time, the perspective is being shifted so you can see that working with people, working with somebody else, gaining somebody else's support is more fruitful during this time. And a lot of times with Leo risings, there is a very high independence. I can do everything on my own. And this time, these 18 months are just trying to show you that you are worthy, and it's going to make you believe that you're worthy. By allowing other people to support you, you're going to feel that viscerally, that worth. It's not just going to become this mental idea that you understand, but you're going to be able to experience it. So you have to really open up and allow yourself to trust and go through the transformations that are necessary in order for you to be able to experience that support, experience that intimacy, experience that financial support as well. There will also be opportunities for you to let go of any feelings of scarcity around money. This might be uncomfortable for you because Virgo naturally rules your 2nd house. So there is a sense that for a lot of Leos, their finances are something that they can be nitpicky about and detail oriented with, and that's never really going to change. But in what ways are we moving through that in a way that is unhealthy now? Are we holding on too much? Are we not being detailed enough? And we're going to be able to balance these things out over the next 18 months. Any sort of values that you have about yourself or others that are too critical or judgmental are asking to be transformed during this time. So Leos, let me know how this resonates for you. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like my content, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, for my Virgo sun, moon, and rising, you guys have the North Node in the 7th house and the South Node in the 1st house. So this time is for you guys to start embracing growth in relationships and embracing partnerships in general, and allowing people to be who they are with no judgment, and also letting go of your need to control yourself and your tendency to oftentimes be very critical of yourself or judgmental of the self or others. So it's really about bringing a more balanced approach to you, how you treat yourself and how you treat your relationships. Are you being too nitpicky? Are you not being nitpicky enough? These are things that are going to be asked, but generally when we have the North Node in the 7th, there is an embracing that needs to happen of the partner. Whether that's your best friend, your romantic partner, your business partner, it's a giving grace to others. This also could be bringing more spirituality into your partnerships or attracting more spiritual people. And like I said, allow yourself to be imperfect, and also be willing to drop the identities, the attitudes, and the habits that are no longer aligned with you now. There are identities that keep you small that have to be shed because you're growing. And a lot of you guys are growing through partnership. The 1st house is also your body. So maybe there are some habits that you have around how you take care of your body that are no longer in alignment with you. The 1st house is a house of health. The 6th house is a house of illness, but the 1st house is a house of health generally. So this could be changes that you're making to your workout routine, or desiring a certain type of body, wanting to lose weight or wanting to gain weight. But at the core of the 1st house, it's really about the identities that we've held on to. And maybe there are some identities in which you've been really hard on yourself, or that you've been very critical or judgmental of yourself and had expectations for yourself that were just impossible for anyone to reach. Or maybe you haven't been holding yourself up to some standard, and you're recognizing during this time that there are certain aspects of your identity that you want to work and improve upon. The South Node in the 1st house can be a very spiritual time because it's a time of letting go. And so when it's happening in your 1st house, this can be a time of immense growth of the self, but generally, like I said, it's through other people that we grow, through other people in which we can see the reflections of ourselves in them. And through that, our evolutionary process, we're pushed out of our comfort zone towards this evolutionary process of the self and our relationships. So Virgos, let me know how this resonates for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. For my Libra sun, moon, and rising, you guys have the North Node in the 6th house and the South Node in the 12th house. This is about embracing new opportunities in your work life and maybe healing any health issues that maybe have stumped you, that you haven't understood. Both of these, though, your work life and any health issues that you have, are going to require you to move outside of your comfort zone, to try new things, to look at new ideas that maybe you haven't looked at before, new jobs that you haven't looked at before, new healing modalities. It's also embracing being of service in a way that feels in alignment with your soul, because you've got the South Node in the 12th. This could be for a lot of you guys moving into jobs that are soul-led, or being of service in some way that is soul-led. And letting go of self-criticism and looking deeply at your subconscious beliefs and any part of your life in which there is a self-undoing that makes you believe that you're not good enough. That you're not good enough to get what you want, or to go where you want to go, or to have that job, that you're not worthy. It's like really examining that really nitpicky voice that is so buried deep in our subconscious that it directs so much of our actions. Maybe you're recognizing during this time that any job that you've been in has been, in a way, you playing small because of that voice in your subconscious. And now you're working on that, and you're releasing that voice, and you're listening, and then you're saying that doesn't vibe. And how can we work through these self-limiting subconscious beliefs so that we can have the job that we desire, and we can be of service in a way that doesn't feel like it's dampening our soul. because the sixth house is so much about service and suffering. This is going to require a lot of courage, because the sixth house is a house of courage in the sense that this is where conflicts come about. This is where suffering comes about. And so we have to say, what am I willing to suffer for? What am I willing to... This is actually really great for you guys, because a lot of Libra energy doesn't love to confront conflicts. And so you're going to be pushed to have conflicts here because the North Node's in the sixth. And that requires you to have to face some things head on. And that may be with people outside of you, but a lot of times this is within yourself. And no longer running away from the things that are holding you back. There could be anxiety and worry that's keeping you small in terms of your work, health, and service. So any health issues that you are not sure about, it may require, like I said, looking outside and seeking some sort of alternative therapies that maybe you hadn't thought of before. I think for a lot of you guys, and this is my own background in healing my autoimmune illnesses and a plethora of health issues that I've healed, is that a lot of it's in the subconscious mind and the beliefs. And so this could be very, very, very healing for you guys during the next 18 months. So Libras, let me know how this resonates for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, for my Scorpio sun, moon, and rising, you guys have North Node in the 5th house and the South Node in the 11th house. So you're going to be embracing new opportunities within your creative endeavors and creativity. You're looking for love, romance, pleasure, and self-expression in new ways. And maybe this is more spiritual ways. So maybe your romance life becomes imbued with spirituality. Maybe your hobbies become more spiritual. The ways that you enjoy yourself and have pleasure become more spiritual. Maybe you're finding that you want to go on spiritual retreats, or you want to meditate more, and instead of going out and partying or whatever, hanging out with friends or doing these other things, there's a sense of spirituality being imbued and infused in your 5th house endeavors and in your self-expression, right? So maybe you are coming across more spiritual and you are becoming across more open-minded. And in order to do this, you may have to let go of some communities and groups and organizations, or maybe some past goals and dreams that you've had that have kept you small by being critical and judgmental. And we want to release these things with love, right? It's not about them being critical or judgmental or bad, but just saying, hey, and maybe that's true. Maybe you do have some communities or friends or groups that are really critical of you. But a lot of times what happens during this time is like, you're just changing. The way that you want to express yourself is changing, and maybe the communities and groups and friends that you have are not changing with you. And so we're leaving behind an old way of being in the world, and that requires finding and refining the people that we have around us. And because the 11th house is your goals and wishes and dreams for the future, this makes me believe that there is a big change happening in what you actually desire in life. The goals that you have, the achievements that you want to have, they're changing as a result of your own self-expression and your own creativity changing. But this is generally very fruitful time for your creativity, romance, love, pleasure, and self-expression. And yet it is an evolutionary growth process, right? So it's going to push us outside of our comfort zone because we're growing. We've got to shed old skins. It's almost like we're pushing through our old skins and shedding the rest. And so, of course, there is some sort of uncomfortability here, but generally the 5th house is when we recognize that there is a desire to look after the self now. And that's not the same as being selfish. And being selfish is not always bad. So let me know how this resonates for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. The North Node is moving into your 4th house, and the South Node is moving into your 10th. So you're embracing new opportunities regarding your home life and moving toward emotional healing. This can oftentimes on this axis mean that you're healing relationships with one of your parents. Likely for you guys, it's the mother, but it can be either or. Sometimes the father played a mother role in our lives, so it can be either or. And in order for us to have this healing in our internal world, in our home life and our emotional life, This can sometimes mean letting go of outdated careers, legacies, and public images that have kept you small or no longer make you feel inspired. And this doesn't for everyone mean that you're going to leave your career, but for a lot of people, they are at least changing jobs or changing bosses or changing environments in some way. For a lot of you guys, though, it's more about letting go of outdated patterns in how you approach your public life, how you approach your career, how you approach your bosses. Maybe you've always been really hard on yourself, and is that helping you in your public life? Maybe you've been in situations where your job or your public persona has been very criticized or by your boss or by other people. And is that something that you want to continue doing? Now, with the South Node and the 10th, it's just more about releasing outdated patterns. And with the North Node and the 4th, it's about pushing yourself to grow emotionally, pushing yourself to maybe heal your emotional patterns in a way that you haven't before. Maybe you've been going to therapy and now you need to go to a different type of therapy. Maybe you haven't spoken to your mom in a really long time or your dad in a really long time and you need to sit down and have conversations. Now, I also want to say that when I talk about forgiveness and healing relationships, forgiveness is a one person situation. You don't need to involve the other person. That's reconciliation. Forgiveness and reconciliation don't have to happen together. So if you're like, that's absolutely not going to happen, that's fine. But maybe there are some blocks internally around your internal world that you need to really dive deep into during this time and really focus on what kind of growth you can have in your internal private life. And you'll see oftentimes that when we do that our public life starts improving as well. So Sagittarius, let me know how this resonates for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like my content, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, so for my Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising, you guys have the North Node in the 3rd house, South Node in the 9th house. So for you guys, this is about embracing new opportunities in your immediate environment. You are more focused here, and there is more growth for you here in your immediate environment than maybe in far distant places. There may be more spirituality or contemplation in your day-to-day life, or maybe in your relationship with your neighbors, siblings, cousins, or just the bubble that you live in, so your nearby community. And this may require letting go of old visions, philosophies, or beliefs that are no longer helping you on your path. Maybe there are some belief systems that you have that are preventing you from engaging fully in your immediate environment. Or maybe you have some beliefs and philosophies on life that are keeping you stuck, stagnant, and unhappy in your current circumstances. Maybe there's a belief that has to be different. And by embracing your immediate environment and gaining new skills as well, because the 3rd house is skills. So embracing what can you do with what you already have, and how can we learn new skills? How can we learn new communication skills? How can we change our mindset? This is going to be a lot of you guys wanting to actively change your mindset and change your thoughts and change your communication. And this is going to be a really big deal for you because there's a lot of growth opportunities here. And instead of thinking about this big vision that we have for our lives, right now we're more focused on letting go of visions that no longer serve us, that kept us small, that were too critical or judgmental of our immediate environment. So it's more about refining our belief systems and more about finding opportunities for growth that may push us outside of our comfort zone. Maybe we're learning skills that we never thought we'd learn, and yet we're hungry to learn them because we can feel on a visceral level that this is where our growth is right now. Maybe there is a new way of communicating to people. Maybe there is something about your day-to-day routines that you have that are going to be imbued with this sense of spirituality or service or a desire to have some growth here. You're recognizing that it's not always the far distant places that bring these big visions and goals that we have, but the immediate world that we live in. That's a perspective that you have right now. It's not an ultimate truth, but it's a perspective that your immediate environment is where growth is happening for you. All right, Capricorns, I'm not sure what happened, but I lost the audio. That's pretty much it. Please let me know how that resonates for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, for my Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You guys have North Node in the 2nd house of Pisces and South Node in the 8th house of Virgo. For you guys, this is about embracing new opportunities to make money and increasing your self-worth and self-esteem. A lot of times, this is an entrepreneurial venture. Not always, though. But with the South Node in the 8th, you'll have to let go of expecting that others will see the worth that you're creating and harnessing within yourself. And maybe they will not value or support it in the way that you'd hoped. You'll be pushed to let go of any habits of trying to control, judge, or criticize how people support you, whether that's emotionally or financially. A lot of times when you have North Node in the 2nd, South Node in the 8th, there is a sense of like other people are not supporting us. And so we feel like we have to do it alone. This is not an ultimate truth, but a perspective that you're having for these 18 months. And in a lot of ways, it's because the universe is pushing you to grow and push yourself outside of your comfort zone of doing things on your own. Now, I'm a huge believer that relationships are how we grow. So for you guys, it's not about not caring about relationships or saying screw relationships or screw other people's support, but it's about letting go of control of how other people show up for you. So maybe because you're changing your values, your self-worth, your self-esteem, and maybe you're increasing your financial opportunities and really putting yourself out there and growing here, maybe people aren't supporting you as adamantly or as big as you'd like. Look for the people who are still there. Maybe there are some people, very close people in your life, who are very critical and judgmental of you. And maybe those are the people, relationships that you want to really look at and say, is this really serving me? And that doesn't automatically mean discard the relationship, but it means that maybe there is a sense of, see, this is the thing. When you start finding your own self-worth, it becomes eminently clear how other people are either fitting into that or not. Whether they are continuing to keep you in this small space where they're comfortable with you being, or if they're open to you being something bigger. And so if you just focus on yourself and let go of control of how other people show up and just sit back and kind of observe how they're supporting you, you're going to get a lot of answers. And this support, like I said, could be emotional or financial as well. So with the North Node in the 2nd, obviously during this time, Pluto's in your 1st too, there's a sense of like, I've got to do this on my own. And I want you to know that there is always going to be people who want to support you. You just can't control that kind of support. Focus on your end and just observe other people is the best advice I could have for you guys. This is a time though where you guys could be making a lot of money and really increasing your self-worth and self-value and seeing how much you can accomplish. So Aquarius, let me know how this resonates for you guys and make sure to like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll see you guys next time. So for Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising, you guys have the North Node in the 1st house, South Node in the 7th house. So this is embracing new opportunities to grow in all avenues of your life. You're going to be hungry for creating an identity, working on your health and your body, and finding new ways to show up in the world that feel authentic to you. And in that process, you're going to have to shed some old relational patterns or relationships that no longer support you or that are constantly critical or judgmental of you. The relationships that kept you small or the relational patterns that kept you small. Your lack of ability to trust other people or to be too critical yourself of other people or too judgmental yourself of other people or holding people to too high of a standard. When the North Node goes into the 1st, this is an evolutionary process that is pushing you outside of your comfort zone, and the relationships that come or don't come are kind of secondary. It's you who's doing the growing. It's you who's pushing out into the world, into this new way, and embracing all these opportunities. And the 1st house is a foundational house, right? And it sets up the foundations for really everything in our lives, the identities, the attitudes that we want to have, the appearance that we want to have. A lot of you guys will be literally, especially if you're a Pisces rising, changing the way that you look, changing your body in some way, showing up in the world in a completely new way. And regardless if it's Pisces, sun, moon, or rising, it's about your identity, who you want to show up in the world. And it's gonna make you have to push outside of your comfort zone. You're gonna have to take on identities that you never thought you could. But that's where the growth is for you right now. And like I said, in that process, as you're growing, you're going to see, are the people in your life, are they growing with you? And also, like I said, this is really big because sometimes when the North Node is in the first, South Node is in the seventh, we don't want to completely ignore our relationships. And we want to make sure that we remember that the relationship between the first and the seventh, it's not just always other people, but it's our own relational patterns that are in play. So we are examining our own relational patterns. Are they fitting with the new identity that we have? If we want to be this person who is very spiritual, open, trusting, and generous, but then in our one-on-one relationships, we're very critical, or we have very high standards for other people that we don't hold ourselves to, then are we really keeping in line with the identity that we show up in the world with? These are the kind of things that you guys are going to be looking into, but this is a whole new direction for you. This is a whole new beginning for you. All right, Pisces, let me know how that resonates for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you like my content, I'll see you guys next time.